And July wears on with color, and with some color on this side of the divide as well. It's the 23rd day on this beautiful Wednesday morning, and it's time to bring you your perfect morning starter from the stables of Channels Television. And we're live for you in Lagos. The trio, Jeffrey, Kayode, and Bukola. I'm Bukola Koka, by the way. Welcome.
I'm Jeffrey Zona. Thank you as always for joining us on the program. Bukola, what kind of English sounds like those things I used to hear in the 90s on radio?
Oh, okay, today is 90s.
From the stables.
Thankfully, it's not.
And I heard stables, and I saw horses just dashing out of the stable.
Ancestral English.
Oh, guys, what am I going to do without you?
You know, from the stables, when they talk about those Nollywood movies, those days when they were advertising. From the stables of Amaka Igwe
production.
With the chorus. So.
The day has started already, right?
It has started. It's starting on a cherry note right here, and we hope we're affecting you with some joy at least, because there's a lot we can tell you that to wrap your head around. I'm Kayode Okikiolu, and the morning brief starts right now. Guys, we're starting off in Edo State, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Well, Edo State has been in the news for a number of reasons. Yesterday, Edo Line was relaunched, and you saw all of the buses. Now, the FCT minister paid a visit to Edo State, of course, on the invitation of the Governor Monday Okwewolo, and there was a lot of talk around infrastructure, you know, the whole camaraderie. Mind you, the FCT minister is in the PDP, the governor of Edo State is in the APC, but notwithstanding, they all aligned in that sense. So they talked infrastructure, but then they couldn't avoid the big conversation around the Labour Party presidential candidate for 2023, Mr. Peter Obi's visit, which has caused quite a stir. I mean, on the show just a few days ago, we had a comprehensive conversation around that, but it's not ending just yet, because the governor doubled down on his advice to Mr. Peter Obi to let him know when he's visiting Edo State. And guess what? The FCT minister took it further and spoke to it. So I'd like you to take a listen to both of them speaking. Don't forget, there's been a lot of, well, would I say reprimand on Governor Monday Okwewolo for making that statement earlier on, but he's saying, I no put yam for mouth. Take a listen.
Don't come. What I'm saying, I simply said, it's an advice. Don't come to Edo without telling me. Was I chewing hot yam? Do I need 1 + 3 to make my sentence? No! My job is not only to work for Edo people. My job is to save the life of every Edo citizen and visitors coming into Edo. If telling him to notify me as the chief security officer of this state is a crime, so be it. When Peter Obi was coming to my state, he notified me that he was coming to my state. I provided logistics, vehicles for him to use. Because at that level, as a profile presidential candidate, if he does not tell you and anything happens, the governor will be held responsible. And people should stop politicking when the truth is being told. Obi, knowing fully well, with their so-called coalition, anything can happen. They will accuse the governor that he was behind it. So the statement you made, you are quite right. You didn't say, don't come. All I'm saying, if you are coming, tell me, because I'm here to protect you.
We get you too much.
But people they give people money, they go to television. You have never told Nigerians, don't come to Edo, and you won't do that. But this so-called profile people who say they are big men in this political period we are in, we have to be careful.
Lady and gentlemen, well, what do you make of that? Because it seems like a defense as to the statement of the governor of Edo State, and he doubled down on that, saying, well, this is how it should be. I'm advising you. Let me know. But hey, the FCT minister just went guns blazing and spoke about even when Mr. Peter Obi visited River State.
So let's put things in context. I must commend the governor for the transport services. That is very commendable by every standard. I'm also so commending him for his humility, but I don't know who is advising this governor. There is a part of courtesy. So coming to his state as a former governor of the state, whoever. So let's backtrack. When FCT minister, when he was governor of River State, the bus he talked about providing and facility then was Obi coming to campaign for election. And he said, well, we may not be in the same party, but I'm going to give you all the support you need. And indeed, Nyesom Wike gave him all the support he needed. He was coming for a campaign. That is a different thing altogether from what I think Mr. Obi went for. I heard he went to do some charity work to donate some money to a hospital in the state. Now, the point I'm making here is that there is no law that says anybody going into Edo State must tell the governor that is coming. There's no law. Section 41 of the Constitution says we have the freedom of movement within our country. So Obi or whoever, former or present governor, coming to his state is just a question of courtesy. And if you were trying to reiterate courtesy, the approach he's using is totally wrong. He may not have directly threatened Obi, but he has implied threats by his very first remarks he made. And I was listening to you guys interviewing the commissioner the other day. The man was busy grasping a straw. He said people died. Was it at the event that Obi went for that people died in the first place? The answer is a classic no, because we don't have the record. For now, we should have had a police report, family members, all of that. None of that is there. So until that is available, I see that as a lie, until it's proven that is related to the man's visit. But I'm talking broadly here. It is okay, and it is to an extent quite good for the protection of everybody, that if you're coming to a state, somebody of obese stature and all of that, too, at least, if you give him the courtesy of saying, I'm coming to your state. But all of this, guys, is all about politics. Elections are coming. So if Obi tells him he's coming now, what is he going to do? He's going to provide security for Obi?
And buses.
He's going to provide what exactly? I don't know who is advising him. He doubled down on, look, it's simple. I'm sorry it didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out, but this is what I meant. That's how he's supposed to retrace himself. Because what he did the last time was that the states, Edo State, struggles with cultism every other day. So when you make a statement like that in a state that is struggling with insecurity and say, whatever happens to you, whatever happens to you, you take it like that. It's like you're giving some people the leeway to harm anybody, or this time it will be. And the bigger picture, guys, here is that you're sending a wrong signal to investors for a state that is struggling with insecurity, and then the chief security officer is making those kinds of utterances. I can imagine, you know how many governors, former and present, comes to Lagos State? How many inform Sanwo-Olu? Does Sanwo-Olu even care to know? Come on, man. What is wrong is wrong. Courtesy is okay. It's okay to say, Chief, I'm coming to your state. I want to come and do this. That's courtesy. But there's nothing mandatory in the law. So all this is just politics. Nyesom Wike providing what he provided was because the man was coming for campaign. So the context is totally different. And I don't think he directly threatened Obi, but his statement implied a threat. So let's be clear on that as well.
Well, Jeffrey, thank you so much for those insights. I'm wondering what I might add, but I'll try to add something all the same.
You already added.
By the way, you know, we did what we could to get the commissioner to provide evidence to the effect that
He didn't have it for you people
yes,
that day.
he didn't have it.
He didn't have it.
He's supposed to give Kayode the updates because he said that day that
I've been refreshing my messages. Nothing has come in.
So,
Sorry, Bukola, that people died. Maybe people died, but was it related to the event? Is the question, right?
Hopefully, I'll get it today, and I will share with
whatever
Nigerians.
I could add. You know, perhaps Mr. Peter Obi hasn't spoken to this this, but it's a very weighty allegation to link his visit to the death of a number of persons. If an individual visits an area and, following his visit, something of that magnitude happens, that individual should bear some form of responsibility. So if the Edo State government is yet to provide evidence to the effect that Mr. Peter Obi's visit to the College of Nursing in the state on that day has anything to do with the death of 3 persons, and they haven't provided the evidence, then we should keep asking those questions, and they should be responsible to either apologize to Mr. Peter Obi or provide that evidence, because there's still no record that any mainstream media covered a stampede that is linked to Mr. Peter Obi's visit to Edo State at that material time. Jeffrey kept talking about the Constitution, and I have the Constitution here. Section 41 says every citizen of Nigeria is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria and to reside in any part thereof, and no citizen of Nigeria shall be expelled from Nigeria or refuse entry thereby or exit therefrom. And subsection 2, by the way, says nothing in subsection 1 of this section shall invalidate any law that is reasonable, justifiable in a democratic society. Jeffrey kept emphasizing that, if it is a political occasion, then it's understandable. And at the time that Mr. Peter Obi visited River State when Minister Nyesom Wike was governor, he was going there for campaign. And of course, such a visit had implications. And just to support that, I have had a conversation with our correspondent in River State over this particular matter. And he said, in fact, he was one of the first few journalists that interviewed Mr. Peter Obi upon his arrival at the airport. And Mr. Peter Obi was categorical to say that I have not come here for politics. I have come here to visit on goodwill, and that was the position. So we've been accused of being the ones, journalists now, playing politics. So we have to be very careful about our disposition towards this matter. But amid caution, truth must be told that this is all politics. And even though Mr. Nyesom Wike is putting up a defense for the Edo State governor, we know that he's from the PDP, but he's the head of the APC department from the PDP.
That's new, right?
So it's unsurprising that he will support his colleague, in the party.
But you listen, Nyesom Wike was also wise in his disposition. You heard him say, anybody can come, just inform. He's a lawyer, he knows what he's saying. Because he knows by law, the guy can tell you, he may not inform you, and there's nothing wrong. But if anything happens, do you understand? Is it because they'll say, did you inform the governor and all of that? Now it's a different kettle of fish. So it's just courtesy.
And the governor also put it in perhaps a context by saying, I advise you to inform me. He didn't say you must. He didn't say I mandate. My advice is that you inform me. I'm sorry. I didn't make that statement. I'm just putting that out there.
We must be emphatic about what the Constitution says, guys, because you could be needing to go to Edo State or indeed any other state on an emergency note, and you may not have the time or the privilege, to inform the governor if you're going on a private matter. And the Constitution protects you. So I do not understand this matter of protocol, inform the governor, especially if you're not going for a political gathering.
So for me, Kayode, what I'm saying is that it's courtesy. It's just simple courtesy, given the stature. But what I'm saying about the governor, which is I'm wondering who advises him. And they have a lot of brilliant people there. The way he said it in the first instance is in bad taste. His first statement was, he said, get shishi, where I get 15 million. It's just an ignorance of who the man is. So if you look at the context, it's already spelled. Look, I even prefer, I stand to be correct, that I read somewhere that there was another politician in that state who, in defending the governor, said he hates Peter Obi. That's fine. At least that's a premise, because the guy doesn't like him, so don't even come to our state. But not this back and forth. You said he doesn't have money. He said it twice. He can get shishi, but the man has been a billionaire since in the 90s. Not defending him. I'm just saying separate law, separate courtesy, I'm more interested. I think my interest here is for the people of Edo State. Edo is struggling with insecurity that has to do with cultism.
At the end of the day, guys,
rhetoric from a governor.
Know that this is politics on all sides.
I understand.
But this is politics.
He's a young governor.
Allow the politicians do their thing, but it's important for people to really look at it and understand. But we have to touch on other things so we can actually have this conversation.
I'm just feeling that as an investor,
all day,
that doesn't seem
well, he didn't tell investors to advise him before coming to
the state.
He didn't tell every...
You don't need to tell investors anything. That's why it's called sentiment, investor sentiment, their perception, policy, environment, all of that. A state that is dealing, he knows is dealing with insecurity that has to do with cultism, and they make that statement. Are you a young governor? You've already done a brilliant work. Investors know how to find their way to states. They know how to get there. I think I just play with me.
No, but true story. Yeah. But we have to get deeper into what we're doing today. Maybe we'll have a behind-the-scenes recording of this conversation and put it out there when we're done with this show.
I like the man's humility. He's endearing. A lot of people didn't give him a chance. So he should build on that, not this.
All right. So, Bukola, what do we have on the show today? We're diving deeper into Labour Party politics. And of course, the coalition bid comes in on the program. I will be having a sit-down, a conversation with the vice presidential candidate in the 2023 election, so the Labour Party, so Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed. He'll be joining us to speak on factions, leadership issues, ultimatums, Labour Party. There's a lot to discuss with him today.
And of course, that's not all. The battle between the Senate and Senator Natasha took a new twist on Tuesday as she was blocked from entering the premises of the upper chamber. Now, is the Senate refusing to obey a court order, or has the order been misinterpreted? We'll be doing some in-depth analysis of this later on the show today.
Fantastic. So, the people that are for and against both parties, today is your day for the show. But let's get straight to what the dailies are saying in just a moment. All right, let's get straight to the Vanguard newspaper. I think that's the one it's all replete with literally the same thing, guys. The big one on the Vanguard newspaper, I can see the pictures of Natasha Akpoti as well as her convoy being blocked. But the headline, resumption bid, drama at Senate as Natasha security agents clash. Senator walks to NAS premises on foot after stoppage of a convoy. Blocked from accessing main building. Approach appeal court to seek interpretation of legal impasse. That's Akpoti Duaha. Aisha Yusufu battles police over role in stopping senator. We acted on orders from above security agents. I hate that statement with a full passion. What does order of above mean? It's one of the most reckless statements from security agencies. We should never tolerate it. Kare.
Well, I believe we'll have Mr. Dini Ifeta joining us via Zoom. Yeah.
I was going to speak to the order from above. Right? That's not why you were calling me.
No, that's okay. Mr. Fatayo Adeni, thank you so much for coming on the program. Mr. Fatayo, can you hear us? Okay, if you can help us unmute your device so we can hear you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Fantastic, Mr. Fatayo. So I just read the headline, the drama that has been playing out at the National Assembly. A question of whether or not this court judgment, I've had the privilege of reading in the entire enrolled order of court from the justice herself, and it looks like everybody is looking at different sides of, which is sometimes the big issue here, trying to separate an obiter dictum, the opinion of the judge, as against an enforceable order of court, which is the controversy here. But Natasha Akpoti has kept her promise of showing up. She showed up. She wasn't allowed access. I was also commenting on the issue about order from above. I think it's one of the most irresponsible statements from a security agency. It's not acceptable. If somebody sent you, somebody sent you. There's no such thing. But I would like your comment on it, sir.
Yes, first and foremost, I think a few days ago, Senator Natasha wrote that she will be resuming on Tuesday, and I think the spokesman for Senate said that look at the judgment that you say you are coming. There are certain aspects of the judgment that you have not carried out, and like they said that you can't eat your cake and have it. There is part of the judgment that say that you have to pay some amount of money to the federal government, do a publication, and there's a way to enforce court judgment. You can't take law into your own hands. You understand? So if you are coming, you know the atmosphere is already tense. I believe that she should have sought the counsel from the team of our lawyers or legal advisor. So coming yesterday, I'm sure I knew that it was going to be tough and going to create an atmosphere of tension. But just like you rightly said that the police or guard at the top or the security, this was the position of the Senate. Let it be clear, if they send you on an errand, you declare the message, not that the guard, who is your guard at the top? You know, so, but for me, as a senator, being a senator of Federal Republic Nigeria is a position that you need to handle, you know, with highest regard. So I believe that what Natasha has done yesterday, it shouldn't have amounted to that. You can't say you want to obey a section of a judgment and you disobey the other one. It's not done. To me, that's my own opinion. Yesterday, you could have, sit down with the team of lawyers, you know, to ask for the interpretation. And of course, I know that she appealed part of the order. And like they said that the judgment, I'm sure you must have looked at it. What the court said has been that let the Senate, let them review their standing order. That at least if a constitution say as a senator you need to sit for 181 days and you are slamming 6 months on a senator, how will she represent, you know, our senatorial district, our people? How will she, you know, do her legislative duty? So those are things, just like you said, sometimes when the court pronounce a judgment from this side, somebody can, you know, see a loophole. From the other side, the other party can see a loophole. And of course, if you are going to the Court of Appeal, I think she should wait for the whole issue to be adjudicated before she can resume.
All right, let's go over to the Guardian newspaper, Mr. Fetayo. Quite a number of things to unpack there, but the Guardian leads with this story: suspense as Tinubu APC NEC meet over zoning, new chairman. So I'm not quite sure what they're zoning or planning to zone. Is it the chairmanship position or the presidential ticket? But hey, it's a page 6 read on the Guardian newspaper. Do you share this suspense sentiment as well regarding this meeting? Looks like we almost know where the APC is headed concerning these things, Mr. Efetaya.
Yeah, from the look of things, I'm sure they'll say they are zoning it, or Tinubu is their preferred presidential candidate, just like they did for the late former President Buhari when he was going for the second term. And secondly, for the new chairmanship, they also want to, you know, because they need block vote from the north, they want to dangle it to the northern party. There's nothing suspense about it. It's just like they just want to make their own intention clear from the beginning. Just like while I was in the studio the other days when I said that this ADC, let us know your intention from beginning. We are zoning this position to this part of the country. We are zoning this position to that part of the country. I think that's what they want to do. There's nothing suspend about Tinubu and APC over zoning new chairman. So we know where they are headed. So there's nothing that cause suspense there.
And you see this other story on the front page: Benue killings, 3,160 displaced, 48 homes rather destroyed, says federal government. It's on page 30. It looks like these things just happen below the radar. And they keep happening. If it's not Benue today, it's Plateau tomorrow, keeps oscillating. What decisive action must be taken? I know there's constitution amendment, there's meetings going on, the governors are saying what they want, but what must be done decisively by this government if we want to put an end to this, Mr. Fetaya?
Yes, it's just a pity that our government, maybe if it doesn't concern them directly, they just take it with levity. 3,000 is a huge number. Over 3,000 is a huge number. And I think you can't continue to do the same thing. There are some areas, just like, for example, I think US on their website saying, if you go to this state, these are the challenges you are bound to face, warning their citizen. I think since Benue State with what is going on now and some other states in Nigeria, they are facing issue when it comes to security. I don't see the reason why the leaders will come up, map out the strategies and nip it in the bud. And that's why we have NEMA that should show up when it comes to emergency. I've never seen anything from that agency. I stand to be corrected anyway, but I think they should work more on the security, because that's one of the function of any government. Protection of life and property, whatever it is, because of the killings. Like our former president said that the blood of any Nigeria does not worth his ambition. So don't say because it does not concern you and you are just looking on the other side. They should do all what they can do to protect the life of any Nigeria, regardless of religion or political affiliation.
And that is the expectation as far as governance is concerned. But away from the projections about governance and what is to happen in 2027, the new Nigerian News Direct takes a different path from the other papers to look at the outcome of the MPC meeting yesterday, and it pretty much captures most of the decisions taken by the 12 wise men, according to Mr. Bismarck Rewani. CBN retains interest rate at 27.5% despite slowing inflation, as external reserves hit $40.1 billion. 8 banks meet recapitalization requirements. Equities maintain rally as CBN holds rates. And, again, referring to Mr. Rewani, he has said that the CBN Monetary Policy Committee is choosing to tow a cautious path, amid the efforts to rein in on inflation. But pretty much, what are your thoughts on this? How much of the June inflation decline recorded by Nigeria informed this decision? And does this take us anywhere near the destination of reducing inflation to a single digit?
No, not at all. And this thing has to start with CBN. The purchasing power of Nigeria is keep, dragging down or going down. And if there's any policy CBN should do, I think it has to do with aspect of interest rate for those who are still doing their businesses, taking loan from bank or credit facility. If you are giving so much as high as 20%, I don't think it's out of place if CBN could do, say, single digit, even for their interest rate for all the banks, because they are the bankers' bank. And of course, when you are saying that you want to deal with inflation, when it comes to interest rate, when there's so much money in the circulation, that is when you increase the interest rate. And if you want to, because it can cause inflation, and when there's no much, then you reduce the interest. There's no even money in the circulation to talk about. So 27 is too high for me, and I don't think ordinary Nigerian, they are feeling the impact, because before it depends on the ordinary Nigerian, the citizen, to show that, oh, okay, what we are doing, if the business thrive and if the economies is moving forward, the purchasing power is increasing, then that's how they are feeling the whatever policy that CBN is doing. But this 27% for me is too high, and despite slowing inflation and external reserve, the money is there, the other country, they are using it. Why don't you bring that, to make sure that people have access to funds to run their business, because Nigerian economy or whatever it is cash dominated. You want to buy a house, you pay your money in full. You want to buy anything, you pay in full. Not like as it's obtained in other client in the world where you say pays certain percentage while you spread the remaining for the next 2-3 years.
Absolutely, Mr. Efeta Adeni, thank you so much for your insight, as always, for coming on the program. And Nigerians, you can go out there, pick up the dailies. Do they pick it up these days? Okay, some people still do. Just go online as well and get to read in-depthly some of these stories that has been conveyed on the front pages of all of the dailies we've highlighted right in the program. Mr. Adeni, thank you so much. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be talking with the former 2023 vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Datti Baba-Ahmed, is joining us from Abuja studios. Join us again.
Welcome back. So let's get started with our conversations, shall we? And of course, we're zeroing in on politics this morning, specifically Labour Party politics. And of course, there's also the coalition bit, you know, when you consider the disposition of some Labour Party members towards the coalition. And don't forget also that as far as the Labour Party is concerned, there is the Julius Abure group and there is also the Nenadi Usman group. But let's feel the temperature of both groups through the eyes and, of course, the mind of someone who should know. Let's welcome Mr. Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for coming through on this one.
Morning. Nice to be here.
We're happy to have you as well. So let's get right into it. As far as the Labour Party is concerned, many would say that the law of diminishing returns has since setting, and you know, there's really no hope of the party coming together again, considering also the many defections that have been witnessed of Labour Party lawmakers to the opposition party. But we saw just days ago your efforts to reconcile both groups. So what's informing this reconciliation move by you?
The law of dashed hopes applied to the whole of Nigeria when APC captured the Nigerian state in 2023 again after winning their election in 2015. So I don't quite appreciate the language of diminishing returns on a party that claims to have won the election in 2023, to have rescued Nigeria and give Nigerians true hope. Having made that clarification, leadership is a responsibility, it's a burden, it's a commitment. Leadership requires faith. Leadership requires strength, initiative, capacity, as Peter Obi would say, character, and compassion. All these things came to the fore and they came to play when I rose to the challenge to carry out exactly what leadership should do. Labour Party is not a party to walk away from, not a party to be abandoned or to be ignored. I remind you that to the best of our knowledge, and tens of millions across Nigeria, we won the election. Now, those who were able to capture the Nigerian state so easily, if anything, thanks to the poor efforts of people like me and others who didn't join me in what I called for, it became so easy seeing how they could capture the Nigerian state. What next? Destroy political parties. Because they had destroyed, made the likes of INEC and security agencies to do their biddings in the process of capturing the Nigerian state. What is so difficult then in destroying Nigerian political parties? So that by the time we get to 2027, it is narratives like what you just said, law of diminishing return on parties and all those kind of things, not the failures of their government that people will be looking at. It is more of politics that people will be dazed with, not the indices of governance that people will be reeling from. So I rose to the challenge. Philosophically speaking, it is morally wrong to allow two people continue in their lines of argument or quarrel without applying decency in bringing them to better understanding. Labour Party has been a victim of the captors of Nigerian state, like many other parties have been. So we need sympathies. We need to be tapped on the shoulder that despite all the things that have been done to you and have been done to you, this party is still able to fly its flag. A gentleman like me still remains in the Labour Party to call us together. Our boss, His Excellency Governor Peter Obi, like I told you, has been overwhelmed by similar smaller issues. The demolition of their property in Lagos, his travels around Nigeria, to schools, to Daura, and recently a governor has been on his case trying to restrict his constitutional and human rights not to visit one of the states. I have to reason with him, and I have to rise to the challenge. It became necessary, the doctrine of necessity. These factions only kind of exist on the pages of the dashed hopes for Nigerian Democrats. They have interfered in our activities. That is what happened. I rose to the challenge, and
All right.
there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and everything right in that.
All right.
Now, whoever again is on a mission to change the meaning of my unambitious, clean actions, they are welcome to do. All they are doing is they are speaking out their fears.
All right, we'll interrogate
They are afraid
your
of people coming out.
unambitious
Yes.
and honest intentions much later on. I believe, I'm hoping that that will come from my colleagues. But is Mr. Peter Obi on the same page as you in this mission to reconciling both groups? And that question is important because your engagement with the Abure group has since been disowned by one of the leaders of the obedient movement. In an interview, Dr. Tanko Yunus has said, "We are not aware of that particular meeting, but we are resolute. We will continue as obedient to mobilize with His Excellence, Mr. Peter Obi. And we have also said that wherever he goes, we go as well." So by extension, he's saying that they're not aware of your moves to reconcile both groups. How do you respond to this?
No, come on, bring out the important things. I don't talk to Mr. Tanko. I relate with our boss, Excellency Peter Obi, and I did. His Excellency Peter Obi is aware. He probably has been too busy to update the Tankos around him. So yes, I don't. I speak with the boss, not with those who move around with him. And I am happy to still have our Tankos around. They are loyal, they are active. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Peter Obi is aware, please.
Okay, so the intention here, so there are two parts to this conversation, or there are two parts to the argument.
Yes.
There is the Julius Abure which you've gone to mend fences with. Did you also maybe seek or consult with the Nana de Usman part or group? I don't want to call it faction now, because we can call it faction if we choose to, that has been at loggerhead with Mr. Julius Abure over the leadership of the Labour Party. And what exactly is going to be the way forward in your book? So first question, is Nana de Usman group aware that you're making this move? And what is the way forward for you?
Yeah, let's take the questions one at a time. I assure you that every little step I take, concerned parties are aware. I don't need to get too much into our internal operations, but give you a categorical answer. Everyone that has to do with anything that I do is concerned is aware. If you noticed, Ms. Nana Kazori was seated right behind me, and it was at my request and upon my insistence for her to be there. The way forward, simple. I called for all parties to get together and talk. That's the way forward. When the parties meet, and you as the journalist will get the headlines of what was discussed. I am a catalyst. I'm a positive catalyst in this case. I'm bringing people together to unite, understand themselves, and do the good efforts we did again to rescue Nigeria.
So what's the implication of your meeting? Does Peter Obi is a huge part of the coalition, the ADC. And you've said Labour Party is not a party to walk away from. So I see conflicting signals. So help us make it as clear as possible. Is this Peter Obi's, since you say you got his approval for that meeting, is this Peter Obi pulling out of the coalition indirectly?
Journalistic points of view are very simplistic, too categorical for unfolding political situations. So the way you're asking questions and the way you're putting it out there to the general public does not depict an unfolding situation in a complicated political arena like Nigerian elections. I hope you will take this anecdotal point to heart. We have an ongoing scene. We're on stage, and it is being played step by step. So your question does not really
Mr. Ahmed, just a moment. I think the question is as clear as crystal. If you don't want to answer, you can.
It's not the clarity.
No. Just hold on. Just hold on.
It's not the clarity. It's not the clarity.
No.
Just hold on, sir, understood.
If you can't, sir, just so that I can learn, so that you can understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Peter Obi is part of the coalition. That's a fact.
Yes.
At least he's been in those meetings. You went to have a meeting. You went to have a meeting with Abure's group to say, this is not a party to walk away from. We cannot throw this party away. The whole idea of the coalition is perhaps to funnel in, and people want to take that as a platform, whatever it is. So I'm asking a question to say, since Peter Obi is aware of your going to the Abure group to say, let us reconcile, is this a way of indirectly saying, we may be walking back away from the coalition, but not immediately? That is as simple as it gets.
I never failed to understand you. I understood you very well. I was telling you that this is an unfolding situation. Remember, the coalition is being formed now. So with this principle of unfolding situation, I believe you have your answer. And I'm available. His Excellency Peter Obi is very, very much available to you, like I've made myself available to you to answer you. There is an extent to which I can answer questions on my boss's behalf.
That is fair. Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
just to be clear, because you sat next to Mr. Julius Abure when he read out the resolutions from the NEC meeting, do you agree with him when he described the Nenadi Usman-led interim group as illegal?
I am a peacemaker, and some journalists have very, very heavy terms that they use. I am still on that peace mission. So if I adopt, even if you answer the question you want me to answer it, you are making me to clean out all the efforts I've been on. We're in the process of reconciling a great party that wants to serve Nigeria greatly. I will not adopt the kind of words that you want me to use. With due respect, please, sir.
No, it's okay. It's a straight question.
Yes.
And, the people watching
Yes.
want clarity as well. So it's yes or no,
Yes.
or you decline to respond. So does that mean that, because I'll tell you this, for a lot of Nigerians, and this is a party that wants to appeal to Nigerians, wants to win elections. Nigerians are watching to see, is this a party that gives us clarity? Because they say charity begins at home. It's what happens within the political party that naturally would extrapolate it to governance or wherever it is. So they want to know if there is enough clarity, and that's why I'm asking you. But it's okay, your responses come through and the people can basically deduce. So does that mean that you are relating or you actively recognize the Abure-led leadership on the one hand and the Nenadi Usman-led interim leadership on the other hand? Do you actively recognize both of them as legal and people to deal with?
This is very interesting. I recognize the law and I enhance order. We went to court, first of all, when INEC issued the certificate and late Baba Buhari's government handed over to Uncle Tinubu. We followed the government of Tinubu while we were at court until the court dismissed the cases and upheld the ongoing government now. Now, even before the court finished, we were recognizing and living under the then challenged Uncle Tinubu's government. When INEC raised issues about the tenure of Abure, that necessitated the responses in Umuahia, and we did so cleanly, legally, and legitimately, and I was part of it. The same instruments of government and arms of government went ahead and the Supreme Court gave a ruling which we interpreted again then in favor of Nenadi Group. And you covered all our undertakings then and our comments then. Then afterwards, INEC continued to relate with the Abure faction. Now, whoever is remote controlling and dribbling, today is here, the next day is there. We are law-abiding citizens, members of Labour Party that are being remote controlled and played around with by some powerful forces out there. But I tell you what, they can't continue to do this forever. Very soon it will end. And what you see going on now is what the authority at that point in time says. Right now, the INEC has been dealing with the Abure. I don't like to even use with Barrister Julius Abure. So as far as law is concerned, it is in order to relate with Julius Abure. And if, again, the Supreme Court give another interpretation that it is Nenadi Usman, the law is the law, for God's sake. As far as I'm concerned, what you call factions now and groups are only in the heads of those people behind the scenes using a great deal of power and resources to upset the scene and distract Nigerians from misgovernance.
I'm sorry.
Remember what's going on now in the Northeast. Remember what's going on in the Northeast and all across Nigeria. They have destroyed our currency, increased insecurity and all over. Yet, what is even more important is the factions in the political party. Come on, let's move on.
So, Mr. Datti, are you saying categorically that by your own interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment, Barrister Julius Abure is the chairman of the Labour Party?
By the actions of INEC.
So you recognize Barrister Julius Abure as chairman of the Labour Party, and you do not recognize the interim-led chairman, Nanadi Usman, of the Labour Party group?
I am a peacemaker, madam. I'm here to see that my party unites. And it will be very difficult for you to distract me from that or to dissuade me from that.
It's not a distraction. As my colleague said earlier, you're trying to appeal to the generality of Nigerians to embrace the Labour Party ahead of the 2027 general elections. So it's important to let Nigerians know the direction of key leaders of the Labour Party. So perhaps we're going to take your submission that you recognize Barrister Julius Abure as chairman of the Labour Party. Just before we leave the coalition matter, you have spoken to a different platform earlier on, saying that you would not be pressured into joining a coalition. By your words, where was the coalition when the Labour Party was able to win, according to your claim, 10 million votes in 2023? But we also know that your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, has said he's identifying with the coalition, which has adopted the ADC, but he retains his membership of the Labour Party. But some would say this is tantamount to anti-party activity, and by extension, some members of the Labour Party had given him 48 hours from July the 3rd to resign his membership. What are your thoughts on the submission that this is indeed anti-party activity?
These are not anti-party activity. What I'll do is welcome you to now recognizing this is an unfolding situation. Finally, you're beginning to understand what I mean. It's an unfolding situation. The meaning of a coalition is that political parties, interest groups, individuals are coming together. It's an unfolding situation. I attended coalition meetings. Peter Obi is welcome to continue to attend those coalition meetings. He's welcome. But a correction I want to make to you is that the ongoings now in Labour Party, which are not strange, which are not new, other parties have had worse than this. It is not the faction caused from outside that matter in elections. It is the failures of government who is in place. It is the promise of that political party based on its ideologies and manifesto. It is the, as Peter Obi keeps saying, the character, the contents, the compassion of the candidates. Those are the ones. By then, the electorate would have long forgotten the intrigues of factions. INEC would have long recognized who the leaders are, given them all the instruments of the party, presented the candidates. At that time, there can be no more factions or groups within the party. Over to you, ma'am.
Let's talk about Mr. Datti Ahmed. Let's talk about the ADC. Some have said that nothing will come out of it, especially those in the ruling party. They say nothing will come out of it. Others have said this is a coalition packaged to realize the ambition of Atiku Abubakar. There are all kinds of description of the ADC. So first, what is your description or characterization of the ADC? And what will be fair in ahead of 2027 in terms of equity and justice? So in clear terms, a lot of people believe that power should stay in the South, whether it's Bola Tinubu or someone else. But they are also saying that Atiku, this is a backdoor for him to get that ticket again. What are the chances of Peter Obi in the ADC? And how do you characterize the ADC?
A word of advice or word of wisdom. Please, my brother, never believe what APC says. Then let me come to your question of ADC. ADC was recently pointed by the coalition as the party adopted. Quite frankly, I'm still trying to understand that ADC. I'm still trying to understand it. So I cannot tell you much about ADC because I am still overwhelmed with efforts to re-energize and refocus my Labour Party that I belong to and I so much believe in. Can you remind me what the last question is, please?
You say you're still trying to understand the
question,
ADC,
sir.
but part of my question was to the effect that what would be fair in your own
The
idea?
end.
Because
I remember.
Yes.
I remember. I'll answer you. I have no objection and I welcome the power to still remain in the South. That is why, if you recall, I aspired in 2019 for presidency. In 2023, I served under Excellency Peter Obi as vice. Before then, I tried to contest governorship in Kaduna and I quit. I very much respect as a reciprocation of what I saw in Port Harcourt 2018. There wasn't a single candidate north of Rivers Niger and Benue. And in 2023, the whole world is witness to the fact that I didn't contest. It's a show of reciprocation, show of respect. Because genuinely, I have seen the Peter Obis, the Wikis, they had the resources, experience, and people to contest, but they restricted themselves against doing it. And that is part of why probably our good friend and boss, Wiki, is doing what he claims not to be doing in the PDP. He is justified to destroy that party if he wants to, because what they did to him was very bad there. To answer your question, there are two key individuals that I have tremendous respect for. One is Peter Obi. He is welcome. I welcome him openly. Labour Party welcomes him to still come and retain the Labour Party ticket and contest in 2027 with or without me. And ADC is welcome to adopt a southern candidate. But at the same time, I pray for a day that Nigerian politics will develop to, will rise to the level that we create new geopolitical regions and we create new tribes and ethnicities. For example, how about the geopolitical zone of farmers, the tribe of traders, security personnel, medical personnel, importers, exporters, industrialists, youth, and stop talking about north and south, Muslims and Christians. I pray for the day to come. You just saw the change of button from northern Muslim to a southern, okay, well, he's a Muslim, but what difference has it make? It's the same failing government that you see. So I pray for that day, and I'm working for that day that we stop looking at each other like a southerner, northerner. Even in the north, you say northeast, northwest, north. Come on, we rise above that. We want capacity. We want compassion. We want people who will develop Nigeria, leaders that matter, leaders that deliver promises, not who will deliver promise governance and promise and deliver disaster.
Right.
Over.
Well, interestingly, that is what a lot of people who support an Atiku candidacy for 2027 are also saying, that, come on, we have to go beyond all of this north-south. If you're a Nigerian, you're a Nigerian. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't run for office. So they say, for that reason, let him run. In fact, if the coalition adopts him, all well and good. So why not that day start from now, Mr. Baba-Ahmed, since you say you look forward to that day?
Yes. Sorry, can you, the last part of your question, please?
Yeah, I said, why not start from now? If you say you look forward to that day, when will that day be? Can't it start from right away because you say you don't mind?
Yeah, I've started. I'm making efforts to unite Labour Party.
No, I mean, will they, what I mean, pardon me.
Listen,
no, I'm not sure
we have started.
Okay, I'm not sure you got that part well. What I mean is, would it then be okay, based on your vision, your hope, to have a northern candidate for the coalition for 2027?
My answer to you is, I'm a northerner, I'm a Muslim, and I have worked for Southern Christian, and I'm still doing. That's my answer to you.
No, my question is, would it be okay? So, I mean, would it be okay? Yes. Would it be okay? No. Oh, perhaps you didn't get my question well.
I get your question, but what I'm struggling with is how categorical. I'm a categorical person by nature.
Exactly. We know you to go straight.
But right now,
to those issues.
Yeah,
you don't
this
hold
is as
back.
straight. This is no. This is as straight as I can be, because it also borders on the constitutional rights of individuals.
Well, Mr. Baba-Ahmed,
I cannot sweep that away. I cannot sweep that away right now. But I have categorically answered you that, as it were now, I am welcoming the unspoken understanding in our politics that rotates between the North and the South, between Muslims and Christians. I recognize it. I have worked on it. I'm still working on it.
All right, so we're not at that point yet. And it's interesting. I mean, looking through some of the comments online, a lot of people say your demeanor is quite different. You know, you're much calmer. But you said you're a peacemaker. That's how you described yourself. In fact, some are commenting at you calling the president Uncle Tinubu. But that's just by the way, so you know how people are responding to this conversation. I wanted to speak to one important conversation that has been on, and I'm sure you've been following it. Just yesterday, the FCT minister was in Edo State, and he supported Governor Monday Okpebholo's statement, saying if Mr. Peter Obi wants to visit, he's advising that he informs him as the chief security officer of the state. In fact, the FCT minister talked about when Mr. Peter Obi visited Rivers State, and of course during your campaigns, how he gave buses, how he was informed on the one hand, and he gave buses and all of that. I say, you know what, don't let's politic this. That is what is meant to be done, so that the governor is able to provide security for such a high-profile person as Mr. Peter Obi. Do you support the FCT minister's statement on this one?
I would like to please take. I would like to take an apology of you, because in the presence of what is happening in the Northeast, I can really not bring myself down to what minister or governor are saying about the movement of a free citizen. Those things are not important. I am overwhelmed by very important national governance issues. And I beg not to be dragged into those kind of very silly, minor, inconsequential things. You and I have better things to do. What's there in sending buses or providing security for? Is that important?
Mr. Baba-Ahmed,
do you know what has happened in the North?
Senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, spoke about this. If you say it's inconsequential, he spoke and said, well, the
That
governor
is a
doesn't have...
constitutional lawyer. That is his work.
Exactly.
No,
So
listen,
when you say it's inconsequential,
I'm not
just
a
to put it in
constitutional lawyer.
context.
I am more interested in where is the governance. I'm telling you, we're two different people. Femi Falana can speak about this 24/7. I am more after the security of Nigeria.
That borders on
the
security,
economy of
Mr.
Nigeria.
Baba-Ahmed. That borders on security.
So we have different...
The movement, free movement of a Nigerian citizen, whether or not what the
Yes.
protocol, it borders on security. In fact, if you had caught the conversation which we had with the commissioner and what the governor even said, he was speaking to security issues, but it's okay if you say you don't want to get involved. But the inconsequential bit is a part I wanted to put in context.
No, get my point. I am saying that the person you're interviewing is different from Femi Falana, who's a constitutional lawyer. We have different competencies. We have different focus. My focus is on key governance issues, which providing security for my boss, Peter Obi, falls under. And at a time when I'm trying to unite my party, at a time when there was very serious security breach in the northeast, and they continue to sack villages in the northwest, what a governor is doing in Edo State is really not important to me.
Okay, so
I'm only telling you where my focus is, please.
Let's
get me correctly. As human, I can't be an all-rounder. Femi Falana has very sharp focus on constitutional matters. So I can agree with what he's saying in those. In a similar way, he might be able to agree with my focus on national security.
So let's talk about what your focus would be now. Specifically, this peace-building moves that you have made. Some would say that perhaps this is suspect, particularly because of Barrister Julius Abure's current disposition to your principal, Mr. Peter Obi. And of course, indeed, comments that he had made in the past about you in interviews where he had said that had you been the presidential candidate, the Labour Party would not have succeeded as it did in the 2023 presidential election. And perhaps if indeed the Labour Party even won under you, that Nigeria would have been divided by now, quoting your utterances post election declaration of results. And if you also look at where your principal stands as far as the Labour Party is concerned with the Nanadi Usman and Governor Alex Oti group, and you have in fact told us that you recognize the Julius Abure group in this interview. So people are asking that this is suspect. Are you now trying reconciliation moves because you're watching the polity and you're seeing that perhaps indeed the Labour Party would need to present the Peter Obi as a candidate in the 2027 election, and you want to be on the ballot again?
Absolutely not. That is completely misplaced. Please refer to earlier comments. And once again, I welcome you to understanding that this is an unfolding situation. I have no regrets over my comments post 2023 elections, and now we're all as a nation facing the consequences. I still remain that we should never have allowed Uncle Tinubu's government to have been sworn in, and we were to do so constitutionally, legally, and legitimately. I still maintain that. We're paying a very high price for their coming in, and we may continue to do so for a very long time from now. It is unfolding because my party leader has been able to understand me over the 2.5 years now, and has a different opinion about it. So it's an unfolding situation. And the other first part of your question, maybe you can make it clear again to me, Over.
I was referring to Barrister Julius Abure's perception of you as expressed in interviews. He was not enamored by your political record. He's saying that you couldn't have garnered enough followership as Mr. Peter Obi, and had you been the presidential candidate, and in fact, if the Labour Party had won, the country would have been divided by now. Those were the comments that he made, and that's curious for you to be aligning with him and, in fact, making reconciliation moves.
I'm making reconciliation moves between all members of Labour Party, not between myself as an individual and Julius Abure as an individual. You know, it's very interesting the kind of outdated, outlived, now let me put it that way, the outlived comments that you choose to go out and pick and then bring it applied in a completely different context years afterwards. You have the right, you know, this is your show. You are at liberty to bring the kind of questions you want, but relevance is the key issue here. He was speaking about his party member. I'm just a party member like millions that he has. And I was never, ever in competition with my boss that I served under. So what relevance was it to compare me and Peter Obi? He is presidential candidate, and I was loyally serving under him.
Oh, are you saying that, Mr.
What was the relevance of
are you saying his statement then was
making
irrelevant?
a comparison between us?
Or are you saying that his statement then was irrelevant, comparing both of you? Because this is what it is. It is out there. This is something that Nigerians have seen as well, and they reference it online. Yes. So it's not us trying to dig up anything. It is what it is. You can go back and also see what I have said and said, Kaide, you said this. What do you have to say about it? Because it's important to basically help Nigerians see or make sense of the timeline. So are you saying that it was irrelevant for him, or you're saying in this context it's relevant? Because it's not. As you said, you're a party member.
Yes, I'm a party member. Somehow, I think this is the first time I'm meeting you gentlemen and the lady that my good friend. This is the first time I'm meeting you. So we probably are trying to understand each other's styles. But you give a lot of weight in comments, he said, she said. I am more of a little bigger, a little more capital issues that we have no shortage of here. So we need to be able, while this interview is going on, just try to pair up. I want to pair up with you in discussing more of the capital issues than he says, she says.
The context of this conversation, which we discussed with you, obviously is from your visit to the NEC meeting held by the Julius Abure group. So that is the context. It's about your party, the Labour Party, coalition. So nothing is going out of context here. But it's okay. I understand what you mean. In interviews like this, almost like a mental warfare, a warfare of the mind. You're wondering, what does this question mean? But believe me, believe you me, Mr. Datti Baba-Ahmed, our questions are from a good place, just to help Nigerians understand what is playing out in your party, particularly. Jeffrey.
All right, Mr. Baba-Ahmed, and just as we begin to wind down, I'm very, very curious. I'm more interested in alternative ideas, not just an opposition. So in closing, walk us through, maybe in 1 minute, Bola Tinubu is a neoliberal capitalist with his policy direction. He's taking out all the subsidies, or partly some post subsidies. And they said that is the only way forward, given where he came from, what he inherited from, God rest his soul, Muhammadu Buhari. When you say the country would have been better under Peter Obi, what exactly do you mean?
Uncle Tinubu is a tax collector. So he is more after the capacity to collect more and collect more and collect more. Excellency Peter Obi is on the side of spend more carefully, spend more intelligently, spend wisely. And when you're collecting also, collect in such a way that you do not hurt your citizens. You don't destroy businesses. This is a key difference from a Peter Obi-led government and Uncle Tinubu's government. I hope I put it in a very summarized way, sir.
Well, we don't have any more time. We're totally out of time. I would have probed even further because that's a generic statement that was made. I wanted a bit of
give
more.
Me 1 minute.
I would have loved a bit of more clear policy direction. It doesn't speak to policy direction, but maybe we'll bring you back and talk about clear policy direction.
No, prudence. I spoke to you about spending. Peter Obi will never buy that jet. I will beg him. He will never buy that jet. He will never buy the yacht. All those billions spent on repairing the vice presidential lodge will never happen. Will never happen. It's about the fertile land in the north. It's about consumption to production, industrial capacity utilization. Many industries are now would have been at full capacity and expanding.
All right.
That's as much as I can say in the 1 minute you gave me.
All right. And
but we'll never have bought that jet.
You've done very well in summarizing, Mr. Datti. Although Mr. Peter Obi has not been tested, so we won't know whether he would not do those things that you said that he would not do. But by all means...
No, ma'am, he was tested.
As far as
he was tested in Anambra State.
As a president, that's what I mean. As a president, that's what I mean. And they're on two different levels. But we must anchor at this point.
You can infer.
And thank you very much. We'll definitely bring you back, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed, vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election. Thank you so much for coming through on this one.
My pleasure, madam. Really nice to meet you people for the first time.
Same here on this side of the divide.
We'll have the conversation.
My head is hot because of your questions.
We apologize, but we will not repent when we bring you back. There's more to come on the program. When we return, we'll be speaking with some of the supporters of Senator Natasha representing Kogi Central, particularly following the drama that played out at the National Assembly quarters yesterday. So stay with us on this one. We'll be right back.
Well, let's help you make legal sense of what you saw play out at the Senate. Well, the National Assembly, actually, because Senator Natasha did not get into the chamber. But at least she got off her vehicle, walked in, but she was stopped eventually from proceeding to the chamber. So a lot of things are in contention here. But really, it comes down to enrollment order. The judgment given by the Federal High Court. We're joined on the program by Mr. Ekemini Udim, a legal practitioner. He joins us virtually. And of course, a woman whom you may have seen with the senator yesterday at the National Assembly, Precious Oruche, human rights advocate, joins us live from our Abuja studio. Lady and gentlemen, you're welcome. Mr. Ekemini Udim, let me come to you to sort of, again, go back to the court's pronouncement, because I think that is what is causing this controversy. And for a lot of people, they wonder why what seems clear is also not clear. So maybe let's go through the order that was given by the Federal High Court on Senator Natasha versus the Senate President and the rest. So on the list of orders, the 10th one says, to suspend a member for a period of 6 months equals to a suspension for 180 days, and this is the same number of days a member is expected to sit in the House representing his people, or her people in this case. Then he goes on and on. Then 11, Mr. Odom says, that I am of the opinion that the Senate has the power to review the provisions of the Senate rules and can even amend Section 142 of the Legislative the Legislative House's Power and Privileges Act, both for being excessive and overreaching. Now, previously, in the number 10 at the end, you see that I find this excessive and overreaching, noting that it will prevent a member from complying with Section 63 of the Constitution. Now, the 12th, which is where I'm going, that the Senate has the power to, and I believe should recall the plaintiff and allow her to resume representing the people. Mr. Odim, was the Senate in the wrong for not allowing her come to the hallowed chambers or not, based on this, I believe, part?
Thank you so much, Kayode, for having me. The judgment is very simple. I mean, written in plain English, and anybody that carefully reads the judgment will see clearly the position of the trial judge in that matter. Recall that what came out first was the judgment order, the ruled order, which is the summary of the judgment. And after that, we now have the certified true copy of the full judgment. And I must say, if you read the entire judgment, you will appreciate Justice Binta Nyako more, because she has taken time to explain how she arrived at a particular decision of that court. The judgment is very elaborate, and in fact, it has even offered more than the ruled order, presented. And it is very clear. My Lord has not said, recall Senator Natasha. What the judge said was that you cannot do like this, you cannot do like that, and then makes a recommendation to the Senate and says, Senate, think of how you can amend your rules. That does not say that you cannot equate that to say, recall Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan. And therefore, anybody that is interpreting the judgment to the extent that the judge ordered for the recall of Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan is not doing justice to that judgment. That judgment is circulated everywhere. It never said recall. It rather recommended for amendment of the rules of the Senate, and even went ahead to recommend amendment of the Privileges Act, that is applicable to legislators at the National Assembly. Made recommendation to say, well, the way it is now, there is no limit provided in any of these, the legislation, that is the Act, and also the rules of the Senate, talking about the duration upon which you can suspend a senator. Now, that you cannot allow it to be like that. Any law that allows it to be open-ended like that is not really good. Okay? For that reason, I hereby recommend that you amend. And I think it is left for the Senate, it's left for the National Assembly to sit back and then amend their rules. Because, the courts cannot make rules for the Senate, cannot make rules even for the House of Representatives. It is for the Senate, the House of Representatives, to look back at that judgment and say, well, there is a recommendation from a court of law, and we are law-abiding citizens. We preach obedience to orders of court, to rulings of court, and the position of the court. It is a recommendation. Gentlemen, can we look at this recommendation and see how we can amend? But to say that the judgment of Justice Binta Nyako stated clearly that Senator Natasha should be recalled, honestly, I'm afraid it is not in that judgment. If that is the interpretation given by anybody, I'm afraid that interpretation does not arise from that judgment.
All right, let's take it to Abuja studio. Madam Precious, I'm sure you've heard from the legal mind. For him, he's trying to separate an obiter dictum from an enforceable order of court, simply saying that an advice is different from, say, get it done. But perhaps you have, have been advocating for the return of Senator Natasha Akpoti. What is the interpretation from that end, and why did she go to the National Assembly yesterday, and what played out?
Oh, good morning. I'll be straight. It's embarrassing to see or listen to a lawyer sound the way that gentleman just did. It's stated clearly in the Constitution that the judgment is a decision of the courts. That's what a judgment is, decision of a court. And this decision can come in different ways. Do you understand? It can come as a recommendation, It can come as an order. It can come as a conviction. It can come as a statement. The Constitution also stated clearly in section 218. Is it section 218? Yes. That any decision of the court is binding on any institution across the federation. So when you see these people come out here and try to twist their tongues towards, finding a way to sabotage the truth, the facts, the law, it's just embarrassing and disheartening. The court has said this is excessive and unconstitutional. Whatever laws you have in your Senate, as long as it's not constitutional, it deserves to be called out and repaired. It deserves to be called out and repaired. This is not the first time that a Senate has been suspended for this number of days. And every time it has happened, the court has corrected it. That you cannot suspend a senator for 180 days. You are denying their people the right to representation. So why is this lawyer here saying that it is a recommendation? Is a recommendation not a decision of the courts? And is the decision of a court not binding? What Akpabio is doing is flagrant abuse of power. Let's call a spade and stop this. Let's save Nigeria. Please.
All right, Precious.
I don't know what else to add there because the Constitution is there to guide.
All right, Precious. Let me take it back to, let's leave the lawyer in the room to make his interpretation, just like you've done yours. Bryce Ekemini, I'm sure you have responses as to the issue of opinion, statement, order of court, obiter dictum, enforceable order. She's referencing section 287 of the 1999 Constitution that talks about court orders being binding. So let's separate for us what she's trying to talk about here.
You see, the problem that I see is that a lot of people are taking this matter from the emotional angle. And it becomes a problem when you do that. Like the lady there in the studio, she's obviously taking it from a very emotional angle. And this is not good for Senator Natasha. This must be taken from the angle of law. This is a legal issue. Now, if you are saying that there is a recommendation of the court which is in favor of Senator Natasha, why has Natasha gone to the Court of Appeal appealing against that judgment? This is a judgment that has been appealed against. The matter is yet to be heard at the Court of Appeal. And you are encouraging Natasha, the beautiful lady here in the studio, you are encouraging Senator Natasha to move to the National Assembly and enter into the National Assembly. You have an appeal at the Court of Appeal. How does that look? How distant does that look? Now, go back to that judgment. Read that judgment clearly, line by line. You will not see where the trial judge made a recommendation, made a ruling and said, recall Senator Natasha. What the trial judge did, the judgment is clear, everybody sees it. What the trial judge did was, I have looked at the rules of the Senate. There is no limit as to the period of time to suspend. I have looked at the Privileges Act. There is no limit. And this is not good for democracy. Okay? I never recommend that the Senate should amend this, because already a senator has 180 days a year. If you suspend somebody for 6 months, that's not good enough. That's looking somehow going by the provisions of the Constitution. Honestly, there is no provision that says, there is no section of that judgment that says, recall Senator Natasha. And let me say this. Senator Natasha is somebody that I have so much love for. You saw the way she came to the National Assembly, so much struggle and all that. A lot of Nigerian citizens love that lady. But let's call a spade a spade. What needs to be said needs to be said. Now, when you go to court, she's the person that went to the court. Sorry, please. She's the person that went to the court. And that judgment wasn't in favor of Senator Natasha. She has gone to the Court of Appeal. Why don't you allow the Court of Appeal to go through and decide the matter before you go in? It's not a mock matter. It's not a matter that you say no. See, when you also...
I'd like to follow up on the matter of appeal that you raised, but let me quickly bring it back to Madam Precious to respond to what you have said, because you have accused her of being emotional about the matter, and I imagine that she has some responses as far as that is concerned. And while you're doing that, Precious, I'd also like you to speak to the Senate's disposition towards her own resolve to resume. The Senate had warned her to steer clear of the National Assembly, and she was aware of that. So was that, that move yesterday at the Senate, was it just intended to achieve a resolve to resume regardless of the Senate's disposition?
Okay, I would first of all react to what he said. You know, what I would not do is sit down here and allow anybody twist what the court said or what is happening. I will not allow anybody try to twist the narrative in my before. Senator Natasha is going to the appeal court to appeal the judgment of contempt. Please, let's get it clear. The court found her wanting for contempt and fined her 5 million naira and apology to be published on 2 national dailies. I will jog your memory, barrister. During the proceedings in the courts, the last day of deliberation, the defendants brought a case of contempt before the judge in Yako. And the judge already said, this case you brought before me is that of the sexual allegation. The one before me, the case before me, is that of suspension. And even asked them, would you want to withdraw? Because this is not the case before me. And they said they would think about it. It was shocking to see the judge now give a verdict on the case she clearly said was not before her, fining Natasha 5 million naira and ordering her to apologize to 2 national dailies. Of course, Natasha should appeal. So when you now try to bring it up like she's appealing the judgment, or no, she's just appealing the case of contempt. And that's between her and the courts. I'm sounding like this because I want Nigerians out there to understand what's going on. In fact, it is Akpabio that has appealed the judgments. Akpabio has appealed. Natasha is a respondent. Even the Senate is a respondent. The clerk of the National Assembly is a respondent. I wish channels can display this on the screen. It is not even the Senate that appealed. It is Akpabio that appealed the judgment that favored Natasha. So please, let's get these things clear and stop trying to twist the truth and deceive Nigerians. I don't know if that answered the first question, madam.
Yes,
before I move over to the next.
Well, to an extent, but I'd like you to speak to what happened yesterday. Why exactly did the senator choose to resume, despite the fact that the Senate had warned her to steer clear of the National Assembly?
The court has ordered the Senate. The court has ordered the Senate to recall Natasha. The flagrant abuse of power has been for long too ignored. And so she just went there to resume her responsibility, which I don't see as a crime. The court has ordered.
All right, let's come to you now, Barrister Udim. It has come to our notice that the Senate did not appeal, but the Senate President had appealed the judgment, although on matter of jurisdiction. And you said earlier that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan appealed the judgment. But we might also ask the same question about the Senate President. If indeed his own party did not consider the judgment as binding, why would he appeal, even though his appeal was on grounds of jurisdiction of the High Court to hear the matter?
You see, my reaction to that is this. The court did not order for the recall of Senator Natasha. And we have to get this clear. What's so difficult to understand in that judgment The court has not ordered for the recall of Senator Natasha in that judgment. Now, let's even agree that the court has ordered for the recall of Senator Natasha. How do you go about enforcing the judgments of the court of law? You don't take a crowd of people to go to the institution where you're working. What do? There are ways to enforce judgments of courts. You take up contempt proceedings against the Senate president. If he's the person that has refused to obey the order of the court, the Senate president has no immunity. So you take up contempt proceedings against the Senate president, and the court will rein him on the Senate president. Now, you don't enforce orders of court or judgments of court. And this is the point that I'm saying. Let's separate emotion from this matter. This matter is pure issue of law. If the Senate president has refused to respect the order of the court, well, you take up contempt proceedings against him. He doesn't have immunity. But that's not what happened here. And let's not forget, our distinguished Senator Natasha is a lawyer of 20 years standing, was called to bar in 2005. She knows how to go about the way of the law or allow her lawyers to guide her. Now, when you talk about the issue of Senator Akpabio being the one that is persecuting, I'm not speaking for him, I'm not the spokesperson, but let's look at it. This is a pure issue of law. When you want to go on appeal, the names of the parties that were in the trial court must be reflected in your notice of appeal. You have to reflect all of them. So out of, let's say, 5 defendants at the trial court, one person can decide to appeal against the judgment. That one person is the only appellant. All other persons have to be listed after Senator Natasha. So there is nothing wrong with that notice of appeal that has been filed by the Senate president. You never can tell whether the other parties also want to file their appeals independently. And they have the rights to do that.
Right.
So when the narrative is made to say that because of the filing by Senator Godswill Akpabio, it means that Akpabio has a personal matter against Senator Natasha. Don't forget that the name that Senator Akpabio is using at the Court of Appeal is the same name that Senator Natasha used in describing him at the trial court. And the law allows him to proceed to the Court of Appeal.
All right.
And then list others as defendants. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like I say, I totally understand what's going on. It is not good for a senator to be out for this period of time. Okay, she needs to be there representing her people. I pray for her to return to the Senate. But we must understand that this is a pure issue of law. And if it is the judgment of Justice Binta Nyako that Senator Natasha is to enforce, this is not the best way to enforce judgments of courts of law.
So let's take this.
I said, Senator Natasha is a lawyer.
All right.
You take the proper route in law and enforce judgments.
We have to wind down on this, Mr. Odib. So let me go to Ms. Precious Oruche for a final thoughts on this, particularly because the Senate spokesperson had said yesterday on our program, sister program, that, you know what, he thinks this is just content creation and all of that. In fact, he said he wanted to speak to other things, but we pinned him down. So what do you say to that, describing this as some sort of content creation? Yeah, that's from Ms. Precious Oruche.
Okay, I won't be shocked if Senate spokesperson can be that careless with his words. Careless with his words. You know, they see Nigerians as jokers. They see Nigeria as a joke. Nigeria has become an open crime scene. But let them be aware that this generation will fix it. Don't allow them, abuse the judiciary. Yes, lawmakers are now lawbreakers. That's what we are saying. No matter how much my brother here tries to tweet the narrative, want to whip up the whole don't be emotional talks by Senator Godswill Akpabio, this 10th Assembly is one of the worst Nigeria has ever had. And people need to call it what it is. The court has ordered Senator Natasha to be recalled. I will state it here again. A judgment is a decision of the courts. And a judgment can come in different ways. As a conviction, as a sentence, recommendation, as an order. And this section 287 states clearly that the decision of a court is binding on anybody in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right.
So let's watch as Senator Godswill Akpabio flaunts court order and find a way to twist the narrative.
Well, we have to thank you so much for your time. Precious Oruche is a human rights advocate, and Mr. Kemini Udim, legal practitioner as well. Thank you very much, lady and gentlemen, for your time.
My pleasure, and good morning to Precious.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, I love that. That's a great way to end it. Means that this is not personal, but we have to talk about something that's been personal to Nigeria. Oh, thank you very much, Miss Precious, by the way. Let's talk about something that's been particularly personal to Nigeria, and that's football, especially against South Africa. But guess what? Our Super Falcons guys made us proud yesterday. We're not bragging too much because, you have to also be careful. And we have Cecilia Omorigbe joining us from Morocco. Cecilia, that match was a very nervy match. He put us on the edge. I mean, we were up 1-0 and then a penalty, 1-1. But 90 minutes plus 4, we won that match. Cecilia, what was your emotion like, the roller coaster you went through watching that match?
It was raw. When Alozie scored the goal, at first we thought it was Deborah because she was right there before the ball went to the net. It was really nervy. My nerves were raw. Like, I don't know, I had a solitary tear actually coming down because it was so emotional. We already think it was going to go into extra time and then into penalties, but somehow, the girls just kept on. And after that injury, I think it was injury to Gabriela Sagado that really changed everything. It just made the atmosphere became so sober that, when the goal came, like, we're too shocked to celebrate at first. It was a relief, really. It was a big relief because you're playing the defending champions and you're thinking, what will happen, if the girls have to exist at this stage? That's what happened the last time. We're still at this stage the last time against Zambia, against Morocco, host nation. And then went on to play third place match and losing it to Zambia. But this time around, yes, Nigeria is in the final, and it will be saying this is where the Super Falcons belong. I mean, 2022 was a bit strange for us when we couldn't win, but this time around, being able to do something and then being able to get into that space that the girls have always wanted, which is for us, for everyone watching, and for everyone who actually, saw what the girls have been doing all through the years, understand that this is the space and this is where they belong. And of course, it was really an everyone, really, all through all through the match. But somehow we got the goal, and that's what is important, really.
All right, so Cecilia, are we going for it? I think this should be the 10th. Is that where we're going?
Yeah, the 10th title. Yeah.
Chances for you because of time?
Yeah. I think we can actually. This is something we can actually pull off because at the end of the day, the Falcons happens to be a team that you really can't fight. They fight all the time, and then when they do this, it's something that that yes, this is what they started with. It was Mission X from the very beginning, and so this Mission X is still very possible. Yes, defending champions, Ghana actually took them almost the cleaners last night, but they went to penalties. Penalties always say, it's a game of luck, and then they are in the finals. But let's see what's going to happen on Saturday. As defending champions Morocco, as host nation Morocco, I think it will be a tough one for Falcons. But we played host nations before. Remember in Cameroon 2016, South Africa 2010. So I think it's something the Falcons can actually pull off.
So if you were to give a bit of pep talk to them, this is home soil for the Moroccans, and the Super Falcons are up against their football foes, right, in their own turf. What would be those pep talks?
Yeah, just keep confident. You don't have to look at the crowd, no matter how big it is. Just be confident in your football. That confidence is what is driving them. That hunger is what is driving them. We've done it 9 times, so we can definitely do it again.
All right, Cecilia. So our prayers for you have been answered. We're not looking forward to receiving you back home anytime soon, and we're looking forward this time around to you coming home with the girls with the trophy. But as we now approach the final match, and considering the history of the Super Falcons with Morocco, what are your projections for the results of the match? The predictions now, Cecilia. What would it be?
None of my predictions have come true. No one's predicting it, no. But it's always a win. I said thought we were going to be South Africa to go to nothing, but ended 2-1. Zambia, I said it was going to be 2-1, ended 5-0. Morocco, I don't know, maybe 2-1, yeah. Clean sheet, no, 2-0. Like, I'll keep with a clean sheet, really.
Okay.
That is really important for the girls.
Yeah, 2-0 is tidy. You just, clean sweep, win the match. But we look forward to that, Cecilia, and to you bringing home the trophy.
That's what we're looking forward to. Definitely.
Thank you very much, Cecilia, our sports anchor and correspondent who's live in Casablanca, Morocco, reporting WAFCON live for us. Super Falcons are in the finals. We must take this moment to appreciate all of the players and Alozie for that brilliant goal, 90 plus 4 minutes, almost from the midfield. But you know what?
And the back end people.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I appreciated all of them first. Then I singled out Alozie. But we have to anchor. So we dash you that goal. Go ahead and smash goals today. I'm Kayode Okikere. Thank you for being a part of the show.
Of course, Sunrise Daily is up next, and Maupe and the team, they're getting set. You love what she's wearing today. I am Bukola Koka.
And I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Bye-bye.